Hello guys and welcome to the Vincent FIDE Freestyle Chess World Championship. Quite confusing. You look at this position, you're like, what the hell is going on? What are we even looking at? That's Chess 960, and we had a Chess World Championship day 1 in Germany, Weissenhaus. It's not like the event they had last year, not like a Grand Prix, Grand Tour. That's a complete separate event. They finally made a deal with FIDE and finally represent themselves under, FIDE tournament, FIDE rules. So let's take a look. First game, Hans as a wild card faces Magnus Carlsen. We kind of already got used to it. We don't get some sort of spice in this rivalry anymore. But I still think, when Hans is playing, it's always interesting. And let's see what happens. Hans plays Queen h3, and here, after Rook 8, Magnus would have gotten a huge advantage just because he starts attacking the king. Let's say if Rook c3, which Magnus was probably afraid of, there is Rook a1, King f2, Queen g1 first. And then I assume the only move is King f3 and then Bishop d5, and it looks very bad. You want to take on c3, if e4 will happen after x4, and knight e4 I can play king e1, and then knight takes c3. So this king is not going to survive, this bishop is under attack, so I'm not sure what Magnus means, but he didn't play it. He plays knight d5, and now position slowly becomes equal. Takes, bishop b6, queen h5, and for a second it looks like even Hans got some initiative back, because Queen e5 takes, you kind of have a little bit of best position, but after knight e4 it kind of simplifies and we have a drawn situation. And of course, after a while, players played for a while and agreed for a draw. Then I want to show you a game played by Magnus and Yavahir that happened in round number 2. And I think it really deserves your attention because it will show you how just in a second you might lose an absolutely drawn game. So you look at this position, you're like, how can you potentially lose? Because king potentially creates a lot of counterplay for c3, c4, b3, and takes. And it will take a while for this king to get to f7 and promote. But Magnus plays b3. He first doesn't let the king go to a4, c4, meaning that for a move he kind of simplifies. Kind of makes it harder for black to make a draw, but here, Yavahir makes unexplainable blunder, and look, his move made total sense to me. And as soon as I saw that Yavahir blundered something, I knew what he blundered, because it's a very, very logical move to make, but it loses on the spot. Because look, b3 not only blocks c4, a4, but if you look at a5 and c5, those squares are blocked, so the only square king has is b6. And now what happens is, Yavahir plays d4, and after g8 it turns out that this rook cannot take the queen back because rook b7 is a checkmate. So it's a bit funny, it's a bit terrible, absolutely insane. What Yavahir should have done is to play a5 immediately, and then b takes a5, he can potentially continue d4 here, and I think it still would be a draw. Because now c takes d4, king a5, and you actually get this b3 pawn. So if, let's say, king goes to f4, trying to get to the pawn, you play b5, king f5, or let's say king f5, trying to get to d6, b4. Now this takes king d6, and you can play d4. And now, it is just a draw, because let's say king c6, king b3, you might even lose the game with... Oh, you actually lose the game with white. But yeah, the position is technically draw, because king f6, king f7, you take two of the pawns, and the game ends in a draw. So even top gems, 2700, who are going to play in the candidates, blunder things like this. Then we move on to Arjun versus Yavahir, and that was a very good game as well. So here, Yavahir's pass move is knight g2, he plays king c8. His plan is again quite simple. He's done the change, he wants to go king g4. He wants to create a lot of counterplay, but he's just not on time. So knight e5 is played, takes, queen g4, it looks like, okay, just a lot of things are coming, but knight g3, simple knight g3, and there is no attack at all. Rook d4, king d1, trying to trade knight f5, and now knight h6. Look at this beautiful maneuver. The idea is g takes h6, king g4, and you exploit the weakness of the king. Now king goes to h8, knight f7, knight h6, and now rook g4. The idea being that I think bishop g7 has been threatened, so let's say knight e1, just random. You can play, you can play bishop g7, and the idea is even if queen blocks, you can take and play rook g8, and it is a checkmate. So in the game we got queen e7, and now look at this, queen d8, and after queen d8, knight f7, Yavahir finally resigned. And yes, it was another loss for him. And then another game of Yavahir. I mean, we see a lot of Yavahir games there because he lost a lot of games, but it also shows you that, you know, you might be a good... I mean, they're generally good chess players. And in freestyle chess, believe me or not, I mean, it's tough. You know, event can just vary a lot. Like, if you look at Levon's performance today, I'm not sure if, no, we're not going to look at his game, but I'll show you where he's at the standings. He won 2 of Grand Chess Slams Chess 960 last year, 2025. And yet, he's not able to perform on the level like he did in those events. So, it's extremely complicated chess game. I mean, long castle, by the way. You gotta learn the rules, guys. Because if you tell me, you know, if I ask people what's the best move here, castle is the best. d5, knight d4 takes, rook d4, b6, rook d1, king f5, and now dark squares. Bishop on h8, weird but very useful. Rook b1, g5, and soon, I mean, didn't really have any chances. King c3, king c2, and Yavahir had to resign because wherever king goes, it's just a checkmate. Let's say king f3 trying to get king forward, bishop d4. Now if takes what's if takes king c5, king d3, oh bishop d5 just wins a queen. Okay, because I thought king c3 of course would be a checkmate if not for the bishop, but yeah, I mean that's good enough. And then the last game, and Fabi versus Arjun, and you already can sense, you can already see bishop on h6 is an absolute monster, and this resulted in a lot of problems for black. Bishop f5, I mean, not really useful. With g4, now bishop has to move back, and now c4. Basically, you want a tempo, you move the pawn, you attack the knight. It's tough. a3, d5, knight d5. Kind of reminds you of Alkine position, but of course, I mean, it's just terrible. c5, bishop e3. I think if I played this with white, I mean, even I would probably win the game here because it's just so dominated. Maybe not, because I'm a terrible chess player after all, and those guys are just good. But yeah, bishop f6 and trying to stop some sort of fortress, but of course, that's just not enough. Rook e4, rook f6. Now, the problem is knight f6, you can play queen f6. Not even bishop f6, but queen f6, because the idea is queen f6, bishop f6 checkmate, and if rook g8, bishop g8, there is probably something, yeah, something more precise. Yeah, queen f2, and now you protect the bishop. You want to go bishop g7 and then king d4. It's kind of suits on h6. I might even consider going, I mean, not queen f4 because king d4 comes to check, but knight c6, knight e7, and it is just all over. And as far as standings go, only 4 players go into the semifinals. So Magnus came first, Vincent, Fabi, and Nodirbek are going to the semifinals as well. And then for the 5th to 8th place, they're going to play matches as well. Hans, Arjun, Yavahir, and Levon. Levon came last, even though he won 2 Grand Chess Slams, as I mentioned earlier. So yeah, I'm not sure if people are gonna be watching it, because I know for some people it's confusing. I mean, I'm honestly, I can't say I'm a big fan of Chess 960, just because, yeah, for top players, you know, they kind of feel freshness, they play new positions, they explore. For me, because, look, I don't know much, as well as people who are watching me right now, as well as, let's say, people who are below 2600 level, below 2500 level. There's a lot of theory to explore. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff you don't know about chess. I mean, those guys, yes, they proved it over the years, and now they kind of play this new formats. But yeah, I mean, exciting event for some people. For me, just you know, do some recaps, kind of look at what's going on, and to see again if Magnus is going to clinch another World Chess Championship title. Because he will become a, if he becomes, he'll be a FIDE Freestyle Chess World Champion. So let's see what happens. I'll of course walk you through after the games tomorrow and on Sunday, which will be the final day. And starting next week, there will be a series of recaps of my OTB chess tournament, so stay tuned. There will be a lot of interesting games, hopefully. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.